Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And this one that I'm doing today is about a Denver doctor. But I want to tell you that I've done several videos on doctors who have gone rogue. I did a previous video of a Mayo Clinic physician and doctor who allegedly poisoned his pharmacist's wife and she died, and he has been indicted, and he was in his early 30s. Then I did another video of a white female plastic surgeon who was known as the TikTok doctor, who was filming some of her plastic surgery procedures, and they have gone wrong. She has over 36 cases of misconduct and botched surgeries, and she has recently lost her Ohio medical license. And then I did a video on a young lady who's a dermatologist out of Atlanta, Georgia, named Dr. Butte, who was, as I said, a dermatologist, but she was doing plastic surgery procedures, butt implants, reconstructive surgeries, and never had the proper training, surgical training, to do any of those kinds of surgeries. And she botched many of them. And now the Georgia Medical Board and allegations against her and misconduct and criminal complaints have been alleged on that doctor. So those are three right there. And just when you think that it can't get any crazier, I got one of the most egregious situations with a cardiologist, a 36-year-old male cardiologist out of Denver, Colorado, who just got convicted of some very, very disturbing charges. So please listen to this and follow it. This is just to open your eyes and ears up to some of the chaos and disruption that's taking place all over this world. So here we go. Denver cardiologist is found guilty of drugging, assaulting nearly a dozen women. A Denver jury convicted 36-year-old Dr. Stephen Matthews of 35 assault and SA felonies on Tuesday. A Denver cardiologist was found guilty Tuesday of drugging and SAing nearly a dozen women. A Denver jury on Tuesday morning found 36-year-old Dr. Stephen Matthews guilty on 35 counts of assault and sexual assault involving 11 victims. Dr. Stephen Matthews took advantage of nearly a dozen women in the most egregious way imaginable, and for that he will now pay a significant price, Denver District Attorney Beth McCann said in a statement Tuesday. I hope today's verdict provides a measure of comfort to all of the victims. Dr. Matthews was arrested on March 2023 for drugging and SAing a woman on a date in Denver, according to the Denver District Attorney's Office. Later that year, Dr. Matthews was arrested for a second time after 9 more women came forward, reporting that they met Matthews online. And after agreeing to meet for drinks, they were taken back to his home and served drinks spiked with date rape drugs, according to the arrest affidavit. After a drink, one woman recalled vomiting and curling up in bed in a fetal position in Matthews' home, the affidavit said. She remembers waking up with Matthews at her home, but she says she had no idea how she got there. When the woman declined to meet Matthews again, he allegedly sent the victim nude photographs of her. By October 2023, more than a dozen victims had come forward, and Dr. Matthews pleaded not guilty to 51 felony charges for assaulting, drugging, and SAing women dating back to 2019, according to court records. 13 charges were dismissed before the case went to trial, and the jury acquitted Matthews of 3 more charges on Tuesday's morning's hearing. He said, "We appreciate the time and effort jurors put into this case. A month is a very long time to commit to, even if it's your civic duty," Matthews' attorney Douglas Cohen said. "But we respectfully disagree with the outcome, and as the great Yogi Berra once said, it ain't over till it's over." Dr. Matthews will appear in court for his sentencing hearing on October 25th. Also, and I have to raise my glasses for this one, a juror, Laura Richardson, spoke with Fox 2031 after the verdict was read. She said there were mountains of evidence presented during the trial, including pictures and videos Dr. Matthews took of the victims without their consent. She said the texts presented as evidence were some of the hardest to hear. A lot of the evidence we went by for the reporting was what the victims said to their family members, to their friends. Shortly afterwards, "Oh my God," one lady said, "Oh my God, I think I was drugged. I don't know what happened." Text to the defendants saying, "I don't know what happened last night." This is what the young lady sent to Dr. Matthews. She said, "Did we have SX? Can you please fill in the gaps?" Richardson said. Denver DA Beth McCann released a statement that said in part, Dr. Stephen Matthews took advantage of nearly a dozen women in the most egregious way imaginable, and for that he will have to pay a significant price. She said, "I hope today's verdict is a measure of comfort, and those who came forward were courageous throughout this case, and they should be an inspiration to all." She also said that former DA Mitch Morrissey said, "This guy is one of the most prolific serial rapists in the history of the state of Colorado." Attorney Morrissey said the victims will get a chance to speak at sentencing if they want to, and Matthews will be given the opportunity as well. But oftentimes, if there is an appeal that is going to happen, and I'm sure there will be in this case, the individual doesn't have to say anything at all. And so the other part of it says that one lady also said that she had talked with the detective about the horrific things that she remembers. She told prosecutor Bree Beasley she remembers brief periods of time where she wakes up handcuffed and she's naked on the defendant's sofa, and she wakes up vomiting. So he had this woman handcuffed to his sofa. He's taking pictures and videotaping this young lady who does not know what was going on, and she's even vomiting. Prosecutor told jurors they heard from almost 60 witnesses and around 500 pieces of evidence in the trial. Meanwhile, the defense said that these large memory gaps will make it hard to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. However, he did get convicted. What in the world is going on in today's time? If we are not reaching a point of the most inhumane, egregious behaviors to other human beings, there are telltale signs that we are going to hell in a handbasket with what some of our so-called professional leaders in our society are doing. I've done several cases, a case on a judge in Ohio who got divorced, and then he stabbed his ex-wife over 50 times in front of their 2 children. He had been a state senator, a judge, of course, a lawyer, and he went rogue. Mental illness is a real thing. Picking your friends and your associates the right way is a real thing. Keeping your head on a swivel, utilizing the five senses that God has given us to navigate through this crazy world is of most importance. You have to pay attention, you have to listen. Time is the biggest indicator to let you know what kind of person that you're dealing with. Now, in this particular situation, there was not enough time because this doctor, this cardiologist, Dr. Matthews, was spiking these young ladies' drinks on the first date. But here again, they don't know each other. They meet on a dating app. Him convincing these young ladies to go back to his home for a drink. What he tried to do was make sure that he went out on a date at restaurants and places that was near his home, and then he went ahead and convinced them to come back to his house for a drink, and then that's when all of this demonic and diabolical behavior started. But what does that tell you, you young ladies out there? Just because somebody is a cardiologist, a doctor, a lawyer, a police chief, does not mean that they're great. And that can be a great appearance on the outside, but that does not mean that their inner space is great. You have to take your time to get to know an individual. Just because they have a great title or they have a large bank account does not mean that they're a great person. And this is a clear indication that from all outwardly appearances and titles, this guy is a cardiologist, he's young, and many of these women probably thought that he would be a great catch. But guess what? He was not. We always think when we go fishing, we want to catch the big one. But guess what? In this particular situation, going fishing for the big fish, it ended up being a spoiled fish. And this guy, thankfully, had to be taken off the street and has been found guilty on these charges. We know Puffy is going through similar allegations. R. Kelly went through similar allegations of sexual misconduct on women or against women, but we have everyday people doing the same damn thing. This guy needed to be off the street because eventually not only was he assaulting these young ladies right away, somebody was going to end up dead. And somebody like this gentleman needs to be placed in jail and needs to spend maybe the rest of his life there. It's really weird the way he went and navigated his way through college, high school, college, medical school, and became a cardiologist, a noteworthy profession from all outward appearances, but inwardly, he was the devil. Tell me what you think about this case, about this young cardiologist out of Denver, Colorado, who was placing date rape drugs in individual and young ladies' drinks that he was meeting on dating apps, and then assaulting them without their acceptance or even knowing what was going on. What a terrible case. And thankfully, the authorities have captured him, have placed criminal charges against him, and then he was eventually convicted and will be sentenced later this year. Please keep your head on a swivel. I do these videos to open your eyes and ears up. I know we have busy lives and don't know what's all going on around us at all times, but I try to give us some commentary to let you know to always have your safeguards up and take your time getting to know your neighbors, dating folks, who you're married to, who you're going to marry, who you're married to, and really, really utilize your five senses. If it doesn't feel right, then it probably is not right. Tell me what you think. This has been a Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.